glory shone around upon FC Halifax Town.
Joins us live on the show. Hiya, Pete.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. Where are you, first of all? It sounds like there's plenty going on.
Yeah, watching my lad training. My lad's got footy training tonight, so it's nice to be on the other side of the fence, looking at another coach having to work hard.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sparing us a few minutes. We'll
No
try and not
worries.
distract you too much. Frustrating afternoon on Saturday, but ultimately it was those 3 of the last 4 games that ultimately cost you a frustrating end to the season.
Yeah, it was a frustrating end, but again, if you look at over a 42-game season, it's been another fantastic season. We just couldn't get that tangible bit at the end, which is to try and get over the line and try and make sure that we won, get in the playoffs. So yeah, frustrating, but you look at it across the season, and you look at the teams that have got over the line. We can see ourselves proud being amongst them teams at the end of the season.
Ultimately, beating Chesterfield wouldn't have made that much difference in the end. But listening back to your post-match comments, it seemed like there were a couple of controversial moments in that game that cost you getting at least a point out of it.
Yeah, again, I mean, one of my biggest bugbears is the standard of officiating at this level, and unfortunately, yet another official's mistake has cost us at least a point on the day. And when you're on top and only one team looks like they're going to win it, and then you get a decision like that, it's ultimately frustrating. But this is out of my control. There's nothing I can do about that now, and I just felt sorry for the lads because of all the hard work they've put into the game.
As you say, onwards and upwards. The key thing that I think for fans was that they were able to be at the Shea over the weekend. What difference did it make just having supporters back in the stadium again?
Well, it was fantastic. I mean, I thought credit to them. I thought they were excellent on the day. I thought it was the buzz around the place, having them back. They drove the players forward. I mean, it was just great. It was what I was calling proper footy, proper football back, and we're in the entertainment industry, and we've got to entertain people, and I think we did that on Saturday.
And looking ahead now, I think from some of the comments I've read from you, that's one of the big things that you take from this season, that good quality football that people want to watch. So although maybe on paper you look at finishing league position, oh, well, we've not made the playoffs, but actually you feel that the club's in a stronger position as you grow that identity that you're trying to instill.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've brought a brand of football, certainly this year, that now we've had a chance to recruit our own players, in inverted commas, that we can provide a brand of football that's exciting to watch. We're 3rd or 4th top goal scorers in the league, so we certainly score goals. We try and provide an entertaining brand of football, and hopefully it bodes well for the future. With our limited budget, we're always going to be punching above our weight, and when you get Stockport owners coming in and throwing daft money at it, and same happening at Chesterfield and other places, it's becoming harder and harder to survive. So the one thing we can keep going and one thing we can keep trying to change is the brand of football, so make sure when they do come to the Shea, it's entertaining.
As you say, there are some clubs in the National League now who have got a lot of money sloshing around. And if you look at the teams that have come down as well, Grimsby, Southend coming down from League 2, some big clubs, and also those who've not got promoted this season. Do you expect next campaign to be tougher than ever?
Yeah, it's only getting harder. The richer are getting richer, the poorer are getting poorer, and the divide's becoming bigger and bigger every year. So recruitment's key. There's lots of players out there, and there's lots of players we can recruit, and we've got to make sure we get the recruitment right to make sure that we can to give the best account of ourselves again. I mean, we want to be in that top half of the table again. We want to be pushing at the right end of the season for the big prizes, and hopefully we can do that.
Recruitment, as soon as the final whistle blows on the final game of the season, immediately all the fans are like, right, here we're signing. So is it going to be maybe 1 or 2 new faces, 3 or 4, 6 or 7? Where should people aim their expectations in terms of new signings this summer?
Well, that's the $1 million question. We're sitting down with the players this week to discuss the future. We think we've put together a really good competitive squad, so we'd like to try and keep 95% of that squad. We appreciate that we only have so much money going around, so players may feel that they can get better offers elsewhere, and that's just where we are in the food chain, and we have to appreciate that. But we then look to we want to supplement what we've already got and complement what we've already got. And if we can do that, hopefully it'll only be 3 or 4. But you never know until the players are presented with their offers. You never know. But 50% of the team are on 2-year deals, so they can't go anywhere. And then we're just looking for that other 50% now. We'll certainly want to bring 3 or 4 in to complement the group, and hopefully the rest of them will decide to stay with us because they see us as a viable option for their careers.
Can you give us any hints as to maybe positions of those 3 or 4 that you're looking at?
Well, again, we want to try and supplement our forward line and the spine of the team, really. Our forward line, keep our midfield ticking over and maybe 1 more at the back. But like I say, until we sat down with all the players, it's probably the $1 million question, that bit at the moment.
Very much so. I mean, in terms of where the scouting people look, are you looking at maybe players that are in a division below and are doing well and you want to bring them on? Or is it maybe loans from clubs higher up the pyramid? Where do you start the search for the right people?
Well, it's a bit of everything, really. I mean, you're looking at the under-23s market because there's certainly some young players who might have had a bit of adversity in the summer and been told that there's nothing more for them there and they have to go and find their way in adult football. So there's always a gem to be had there. There's always an under-23 club that wants to get players out on loan for experience, and we had that with Billy Chadwick for Hull this year. And then we obviously want some more experience, so you may be looking at the League Two players who are still wanting to play but not getting the offers in League Two. And then Conference North, Conference, there's always players to be had, and so there's a mixture really, but it's about people within our price range, and that is always the tough bit for me, to try and attract people with the limited funds that we have.
That's it, and balancing the books always important for the future of any football club. Your message to the FC Halifax Town fans then, hopefully they will be back in numbers as life, fingers crossed, starts to return to a bit of normality. Where should they be pitching their expectations next season? Would you be looking at hopefully playoffs again as a minimum for next season?
Well, we're not resting on our laurels. We still want to be punching and pushing for the right end of the table. We want to keep going and sort of playing our football in the top half of the table. We want, again, to try and keep progressing as a football club. So progression hopefully looks like a top half finish. Utopia is the playoffs and obviously promotion. And we are trying to produce another team that will compete at the right end of the table. And I'm not going to get carried away with wild sweeping statements because I can't back them up until we start kicking the ball again. So as long as there's progression, as long as there's an entertaining brand of football, hopefully got a snippet of that on Saturday, and hopefully that's whetted their appetite for next season. Brilliant
stuff. We will let you get back to watching your lad football training and maybe a bit of like scouting for the future stars of the Shaman in a few years' time. You never know where the next star might be.
Definitely. Well, if you look at him now, he's the only kid with an Halifax top on, so everybody's looking at him, seeing what top it is. So
good for him. Brilliant. Yeah. Lovely to talk to you, Pete.
Thank you very much.